I'm Brandon.
And I'm Jesse.
We're Cannabis School. Having cannabis-infused conversations
with everyday people,
cannabis companies,
celebrities,
and your mom.
Welcome to the sesh.
Hey, welcome to the sesh.
Hey!
You know, I think lately we've been getting more comments, more just responses and stuff, and like real engagement. And we love you guys. We truly appreciate that. You know, every day when we record, when we show up, it's for you guys. And sometimes it definitely doesn't feel like that because we kind of get overwhelmed in life sometimes and didn't have the plan for that week ahead of time. So we have been working on creating a much better structure so that you guys don't get that. And so today we kind of have, I don't know, I liked where we were just talking before. It made me laugh because I was remembering, you know, that our show has kind of grown through our comments and changed because like we started with, we had background music throughout our entire show.
Tripping everybody out.
Because we're like,
oh my God.
Oh, it's just really chill vibes. Like it's just like a chill hangout sesh. And then just so many of the comments were like, am I high? Is there
if you
music
think
in the
about it, dude,
background?
like if you went and hung out with this one guy and he's always smoking weed and you're like, yeah, but he only has one song playing the entire time.
God, it would be so bad.
That's going to be fucking weird.
Yeah. And so it was just like, oh man, we didn't realize that at first because it was this, oh, this sounds cool. We like it. It's a vibe. And some people are like, oh, that's chill. And other people are like, I can't understand what you're saying. And our mic audio wasn't the best. And, you know, a lot's changed.
A lot has changed, but it's been good. And speaking of, I'm excited about today's conversation because, you know, we do research. We think about things that, you know, possibly would incite some type of thought-provoking, you know, conversations, possibly amongst you guys. So Brandon had this idea, and I was like, man, you need to introduce it, man.
Yeah. So we're going to talk today. It's called TikTok therapy. Or I guess you could say social media therapy, but I would guess more leaning TikTok therapy in how it's gone. Like, is it more helpful or is it more misguided? Because we've seen a really large emerging trend of like mental health and mental wellness. Like everyone's speaking on all of these things, and like there's a broad emergence of that. Versus, well, I mean, go back how many years, and it was probably only expert panels or, you know, specific experts in that field that would talk at conferences or
perceived experts.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
If you could be intelligent in your speech, persuasive with your language, and charismatic with your actions, people would gravitate towards you.
Like
That's
life
why
coaches.
Tony Robbins and stuff. But not even life coaches. And I want to get into that too because, you know, and before we get in there, like what is your opinion on that? Like overall right now before we get started.
On life coaches?
No, on TikTok therapy, the concept.
I think that it's in a world that we live in where I feel there's so much disconnect and like from humans, and there is a lot of need for like real therapy, finding people to talk to, stuff like that. I think there is great benefit, but I think there's a lot of misdirection, a lot of misguidance, a lot of, hey, well, your algorithm just pushes this because you watch this. So yes, is there insight? It's like chat. You know, can you gain tools or insights or use it as a tool? 100%. Could it be a piece of shit and spit out garbage in that all day long?
Absolutely.
100%. So it's, you know, for someone where maybe they've never considered therapy or maybe they've never even thought about some of these issues, maybe it sparks a curiosity or a conversation in their head or with a friend or a loved one, or even that interest of, hey, maybe I should talk to someone, or maybe I do need to get help, or like, I think there's so much value in that, and maybe there are, well, of course there are. There's always the good and the bad. So there's going to be a few people out there who are brilliant people, who are great therapists, who have amazing insights, and maybe they take some of their time and they put it on TikTok. Is that going to be every single person? Is that going to be every single video? I would be really highly doubtful because even in the stuff that it was looking at, it said, the one that kind of threw me out, it said a study of 500 TikTok mental health videos found that 83.7% of those were misleading. And only 9% of the videos were from qualified medical or professionals in that field or area of expertise. Now, I mean, would I be a qualified professional in a cannabis field? I don't consider myself that. I don't know if any real person in that field would either. So in that form where we put out cannabis content, would we be considered in that same classification? Or like what, so there is a form of infotainment that can be valuable.
Which is what this is.
Yeah. And that might even lead within the therapy or mental health realms, that there is a form of infotainment that is valuable. But it's how much of our stuff do we check? How much of the videos or things that we watch or hear or the data we learn do we check? Do we try and go, even at all, is this credible? Is this a source? Is there another source? Is there, what's the second click down on Google? What's the third click down? What's the fourth click down?
Yeah.
What does second page row 3 give you? Like, how much do we go into it on our curiosities versus just like, well, I heard this and this statistic, and then we perpetuate that or share it, and then it's this whole thing of TikTok mental health, and what is the algorithm showing you because what was the last thing that you saw?
Yeah, I agree.
What is your perspective on TikTok?
No, I appreciate you sharing that because I feel that very much this very, very similar to what you had just stated. On top of that, what I see it being useful for is hacks, tips. Those are good. Those are great. When going into self-diagnoses, that can be a big issue for me. Anything like one of the things that pops up in my mind that makes me very hesitant on anybody seeking it should be the first point of contact, but unfortunately there's multiple contact points, and it's really hard, especially for a mind that is in pain, a mind that is confused, you are having difficulties with identity. That's going to be something that needs to go in difficult. Now, am I saying that all therapists are created equal? Hell no. Not all doctors are created equal. Not all doctors are hacks. Not all doctors feel like they work for Big Pharma, like the last one I saw.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, hey, take my blood instead of the blood pressure medication because I know this, because I've learned this from other doctors. And he goes, nah, we're going to give you these meds. And I'm like,
yeah.
But when you see things that's really easy to be manipulated over there or to get advice that is completely wrong, I would say above mental health is just health in general, dietary stuff. Like people are like, oh, you could live off of nothing but potatoes. Yeah, that guy's system could live off of nothing but potatoes.
Not just mental health.
No.
But there's
there's a correlation.
Health or specialist that is not an actual specialist.
Right.
Now that we've got the TikTok mental health or TikTok.
Well, I guarantee this is where like coffee enemas started. Like people are like addicted to coffee enemas. Like they like to. There's nothing like a coffee enema. Like what roast are you using? Because it's just like
I had only
it's up my ass, but I could totally taste it in my mouth.
I'd only heard that from my uncle, who's like when my wife had cancer, and it was you'd use a coffee enema to help remove the toxins because I guess it was supposed to be really good at helping cancer patients remove toxins or something. So,
but again, I mean,
that was the only. But I can't imagine using it. Even in that sense, it felt weird. But I'm like, I guess if you've got cancer and you're dying and you've tried everything, like, yeah, you're probably gonna squirt some coffee up your asshole. Like, at that point, what won't you try?
Brandon didn't even need to have cancer.
Nope.
Just think about that.
Why do you think I started roasting my own beans?
Whoa.
Taking it to the next level.
He was like stringing them together. I'm like, what are you doing? But anyways, to pull back to, but yeah, no, I feel that those things are helpful. But when I start seeing that, the one thing is mimicry and depression, especially, where I remember you had somebody close to you, they had suicidal ideations, and they were on TikTok and other places with other people that weren't helping, but they were actually making it worse. Yeah. They are feeding into it.
Yeah.
And that's part of the side effect of being constantly connected is this unconfirmed bias. Like you will just go, well, but they... And
if the algorithm shows it, well, then
they're just going to keep pushing it.
It's, well, you're your field gets narrower and narrower because your comments become this group
Well, guaranteed,
or that.
after this conversation, go on to Facebook, and you'll be
TikTok,
seeing
everywhere.
ads for mental health things, and then your videos will be more guided towards it. And that's understandable. That's the thing, why AI has been such a good, useful tool in this way, because now AI is starting to scrub it. So if you find it not enjoyable, I use that vote feature and report it constantly. If I see something, I'm like, nope, misinformation, sexually inappropriate. Like the YouTube stuff where people are constantly, like the OnlyFans girls are constantly on there. Like,
Really?
yeah, dude, they'll use it where they're getting away with showing partial nudity, but it's just a link to get to their OA page. And so when they're doing that, I mean, I've got my kids on there. I just want my kids to focus on kid shit. That's all. But I see it now where I worry about my children and their mental health. Would I seek those out? No.
Yeah.
I will say, like, in one area, and then I'll pass it back to you. ADHD, it's not necessarily what the best content I've seen on that one. It's been acknowledging symptoms and behaviors that ADHD people have. And that has been interesting because it's not prescribing. It's like, hey, you feel like this? Because I feel like this.
Yeah.
And you go,
it becomes a lot of
okay.
self-diagnoses, and there's, hypochondriacism or
Which
whatever.
is funny because of that.
Hey, I got this, and
I don't do that anymore.
But you've gone more to chat, where you're like, hey,
no, I don't even do that anymore.
No.
I try not to because
I was going to say that kind of helped you through it some, though.
Yeah, because
it was, hey,
I'm
here's what I'm
overthinking.
feeling, and this is what I was thinking. Do I need to do this? And it's like, oh no, you're good. This is your side effects of your medications. Like, try this. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why I've gone less and less to it.
And so
because
then
of
it's
those times.
that realization in your head of like, hey, maybe some of those things, my paranoias or fears that were coming out, yeah, they're like justified, but maybe it's not necessary because this is 99.9% of the time is maybe this.
Yeah, because if you look at the cited information, if I see Wall Street Journal or Newsweek, it's all fucking hyperbole.
Yeah.
Every single bit of it. If it's in a major publication, I don't trust it one bit.
Like which major person is funding that? You know?
If there's an actual study behind it, I'm like, okay, cool. I want to follow that doctor.
Yeah.
And then I'll find out what
I
else they've
to
done.
Look at this study because oftentimes
That's a dry read.
Yeah,
I can't
it
do
is
it.
dry. But it's just to go, what did they pull from this? Because a lot of that data that the claim states or the newsletter states, I'm like, this is not what your data said. So you're pulling this really skewed stuff, and then I look at that and I'm like, it is a very dry read, but it really helps me understand that
I take
this
them
is
now.
a very skewed article.
Exactly. What I do is I take it and I download the whole study and drop it into chat saying, I need you to give me the top points in simplistic form, and I don't want to go through all the data sets. I just want to know where did they start,
I have yet
what
to
was the
do
middle,
that sounds
what was
brilliant.
the outcome.
Save me so much time in reading.
Because I need to know.
I do too. That's why I read the data set, because I'm like,
that's
wait,
what's helped me with it.
But that would save so much time in the streamline of the work process, because then I don't have to read all the data sets and go, all right, what does this actually say? It can go, this is what was concluded from here, and here's what the data set showed versus what their conclusion showed versus what their hypothesis showed.
Can you break it down in a graph?
Like,
Can you put it into a grid?
Yep.
And it'll do all that. And that's that's understanding and wielding it in a way that it's productive. But when you look at like mental health, like the ADHD thing I was talking about, there's a content creator, I don't know her name, but she said something on I just came across it, and I was like, I watched it again and I thought about it, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good. It talked about how dopamine deficient ADHD, which is done by studies, so it's not hyperbole, but the cool part about it was denying your self-gratification. So people with neurodivergence, you could say, we typically have lower dopamine. So we're constantly doing things. We constantly have projects. We do tons of stuff. We're extremely physical because it's the only way to get all that constant go mentality. But the one thing that we do is we seek out behavior such as scrolling on your phone, playing video games for a long period of time, smoking way too much cannabis, and not for medical reasons. You're just like, because I've got 5 minutes. You find yourself trying to just get dopamine hits. that's where you see people who are severely addicted to porn. Where I used to laugh about this guy at this church where he showed up to talk about the dangers of porn and that he lost his job for it. And his wife was there too. And all I'm thinking is like, this poor son of a bitch is having to pour his heart out and do it in front of his wife. When she gets home, I'm thinking, because I'm always thinking like a comedian or something. She gets home, she's like, yeah, phone.
Right?
Fuck.
Yeah.
I told you, I just spoke to a bunch of people. I don't do that anymore. Yeah, we'll see. I've got the phone. And the guy lost his job, and I'm thinking, this poor bastard is beaten off like 5 times a day. His dick's raw. His right forearm is dragging behind him because it's massive.
It's that Quagmire and Family Guy scene.
Yeah, exactly.
Where it's like twice the size. What? We haven't seen you in a week. I've been watching that internet porn.
But it did totally. But now I understand that these behaviors, and so I started to do research from there and trying to find it. And so what I think of those is that if you see something social media, it's a great starting point to start to investigate, to look, to search beyond this thing. It triggers in your mind, because when I see something now that seems too good to be true, I copy paste and I drop it into chat. And I said, hey, what's the validity of this claim? And then it goes down. Like, I've applied to jobs and then looked at the company.
Oh, yeah.
And then they go, hey, you want to schedule an interview? I said, no, I changed my mind.
Yeah.
Because it's doing a little bit more, but the mental health side, man, it's tricky.
It is. That was the thing that it brought up. Like, looking into it, is a lot of like that symptom lists where they give people this, and then they're like, oh, or creating things, or like, hey, there's no introversion, it's just depression
or social anxiety.
Yeah. So putting these labels on you of like, hey, you're not this, you're this. Oh, well, maybe I am that. Oh, okay, well, now, and then they're creating these labels, or then creating these patterns or that, because, well, now I'm this, so I got to be this way. And
yeah, and then you see it negatively.
Yeah.
And then it starts to materialize. Here's one that's really weird. I don't know if you looked at it. Tourette's. So do you know what Tourette's is, right? We know
not by definition.
Hollywood version, where I'm sitting there and I'm talking to you and going,
you swear, you,
right?
You freak out or yell or,
So there's a lot of Tourette syndrome content creators where they share
what
living
their experience
with
is
it.
like, yeah.
And then, oddly enough, through mimicry and kids being kids, they have caused damage to themselves by developing tics because they do repetitive actions that become ingrained into your physiology and your behaviors. Yep. So it's not psychosis.
No,
it's mimicry
action
that turns into like there's things that I do all the time. These are not because it's a tic.
It's a subconscious thing at this point because it's been so much of you for
so they've had a bunch of teenagers not only have these weird tics all of a sudden because it was more play, but then all of a sudden, dude, they're being hospitalized because they can't stop these tics. And now medications are being brought in because you got to reprogram the mind. So mental illness isn't something you can catch, but you can also develop certain types of behaviors that take over that are negative. And I don't see that as a mental health thing. I think it is a learned behavior that goes over. It's a lot like growing up in a crime-ridden area. Like, we know nothing about that. We grew up in a very... And I love that. People go, oh, man, you don't know hard? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I'm very thankful for that.
Right? Yeah. Like, I mean, I grew up in the ghetto of Orem.
I didn't have to worry about my house getting shot up or someone breaking in. Like, yeah, we had a security system, but
I always find security system. Yeah, it's like, it's going to be really loud while they beat you to death.
I'm like, it's great that it calls the people who call the cops, but like, okay.
I wanted to like shoot like trapping foam that instantly hardened, just sprays them. They get you're over here going, intruder caught my front door.
Right? Like, what in the world? And then I went and sold security later. But my parents, like, we got ours installed in the 90s.
Yeah. But you know, the thing too is that
there was nothing going on.
But that's another sign. Like earlier behavior. So you can see like mass hysteria compared to localized hysteria. Yeah. Like people, like your parents, like here in Utah, rarely there were burglaries.
Oh, I know. Well, my dad's parents, never locked their doors to their house, never locked their cars, and their keys were always left in the ignition. My dad grew up that way. I grew up going down there, and their home was always unlocked. Their keys were always in their ignition until my grandparents died. Like, that was just always how it was.
It's like security companies conspired to be able to get you to buy shit from a fear that's not real.
It's fear-mongering and going, oh, shit. And there are some areas that are more rundown and that,
totally get
more ghetto. But the thing is, most people who break into your home know you. They know what you have. No one's just going wandering house to house, usually looking in the windows going, shit, what do they have? Do you think they have more than like $1,000 somewhere? Do you think I could break in and hunt their whole home? Like,
yeah, people don't keep loose cash. They don't do those things. No. But no, it's the mimicry that you see on there that can be harmful. But I know that there's other things. Like, what are some good things that you think you've been able to find through there? Because I don't play on TikTok.
I don't do a ton of it. Honestly, there are some licensed professionals. There's one, Dr. Sasha Hamdani, the psych doctor, MD.
Humdinger.
He uses TikTok to educate, normalize symptoms, and direct people to proper care. A lot of them do like breathing exercises, grounding techniques, or explaining symptoms to just help people identify potential concerns and stuff. So like those can be good if they point you in the right direction or that, but like it's a bittersweet. You know, it's like the internet. There's the good, there's the bad, it's YouTube, it's anywhere. There's misinformation, misdirection, and then there's other information, and it can be hard to differentiate for you what the best is. Like, hey, what is actually real? What am I supposed to follow here? You know, because you see one video that says this, and then Fox News says this, and then, you know, this other one says this, and you're like, what do I do? You know, and sometimes we just
and now it's even harder because then you go, well, I don't trust the mainstream media, but I trust Sasha 6942.
Yeah,
and
right.
You know, and
or Cannabis School.
Yeah. I get all my information from there. Any information you find should be just the tip of where you start.
Your curiosity.
And then explore deeper to be able to fully understand it. Like that's what we have done with Cannabis School. We want to know as much as we can about the plant, and you know, I'm not arrogant by any means. I don't think anybody in the cannabis world should be arrogant about their knowledge of cannabis, but you realize how much you know after so much time when you're talking to somebody and they ask you a question.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going, well, I don't take it because I get tired. What kind are you taking?
Yeah.
What way are you taking?
They're like, oh, I've tried them all.
Yeah. I tried all the gummies at the counter that the guy gave me.
You tell me you've tried them all. We've been running a cannabis show for 4 years, and we've not even scratched the surface. Like, don't give me that crap.
Dude, it was like this one guy, I bought a bag of gummies for him because he's like, oh, I don't know if I want to get a medical corp. Could you get me some gummies? I'm like, yeah, dude, meet me over at Kira. And I went and got him that. And he left it in his car.
And it melted into a gelatinous mess. Yep.
And I'm like, well, good luck with that.
So then he just bit off pieces. That's
Brilliant.
what happens. That's what happens.
5 milligrams one time, 65 next time, right? I mean, he's not smart. But, you know, that's the thing. It's being able to take a lot of this advice, and that's what it is, advice. But I've seen the most helpful content when it comes to that is not necessarily telling me what to do, but kind of getting like an understanding of like, I've felt like this, or I've seen these things. And you may notice, and the reason why I got so behind 12 Shapes is it's been the first behavioral system that doesn't make you feel like you're bad at something. The DISC model, Strength Finder, Color Code, all these ones, Myers-Briggs, all of those, they go about, here's what you're great at, here's what you suck at.
I don't know if it's necessarily that we suck at them. We're just not good at them because sometimes it's not been our focus. It's not been
but that's the
where
thing.
Our best strong suit is. But
I think that what it does is it's misguiding, because the misguiding is it's telling you like, hey, it's like, you know, is there going to be a Spud Webb in the NBA anytime soon? Probably not. And for those who don't know, Spud Webb was 5'9" and played in the NBA and could dunk.
He could dunk? Mm-hmm. That's a mad hops.
He's short.
Yeah. Because I was 5'10" '3/4 because, you know, every little bit mattered. And I could barely, I could nick the rim, but I could never dunk.
This guy could dunk.
I would spend hours trying to just practice.
He is a 1 in billions of percentile.
who has that.
And so it's this misleading thing where somebody would be like, I really want to be the CEO of a company. And where life coaches come in and business coaches come in, and this is part of a good discussion. This is a big area that I feel kind of molds right into the same thing because it sets up false expectations and false beliefs where somebody's going to be like, yeah, you'll be a CEO of a company. But maybe you're not built for that. Maybe you're wired different, and let's see where you fit in that company. Like I was having a discussion with a guy yesterday, and I said, I'm a real good number 2. I don't like being number 1 in a company. And he goes, really? Why? And I'm like, because I'm the idea guy. I'm the get engaged with the people side. I'm a good president of a company. I would never be a good CEO because I know that if I was the CEO, then the day-to-day decisions have to come down to me, and I don't want to do that. I just don't want to do that. What I want to do is the ideas. I want to drive it. I want to grow it, but I don't want to be responsible for it, if that makes sense. But there's too many of them, like Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
What's his name? The guy, the blue-eyed British Indian dude who says he was a monk and he really wasn't. Jay Shetty. There's Jay Shetty, who has grown in this space of life coaching and all that stuff. Yeah. And he did it all off of a lie. He said, I was a monk. He went past there probably. It's like, saying like, maybe I work for Microsoft because I was a contractor.
Took a master class.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, no, there's a lot. I mean, and it was before those, and that's those things like what are they called? Masterminds. What was his nuts?
Which one?
That one guy.
Oh, the master. Oh,
yeah.
Which one?
Golden Circle.
John or...
Fucking don't remember his name. Yeah, John.
And then the other one, John Kovac, and I thought he bounced off of another mastermind that was before that.
Yeah, because he used to claim like, I'm the youngest guy to be able to lead masterminds. I'm like...
But when we went to the mastermind group, I was really surprised that it was just a bunch of people who were trying to start a business that had never been in business before and were attempting for their first time and were still pretty new. And I'm like, this just feels like a networking event where people are paying to try and learn, but you're still pretty new to business too. So,
or the ones I would go to where they were all like, what's his name? Napoleon Hill, like groupies.
Eat,
Think and Grow Rich.
Is. Yeah. I think there is value in stuff, but it's the problem with some of the life coaches or ones like that is when they tell people that, you can be anything. You can. Now, will you be the best version of that? Not necessarily, because I think we do each have our strong suits and our areas of expertise that we're more fitted for. That we're like, hey, yeah, you probably could be everything. You could be an NBA, whatever, if you spend a lot of time, and that you might not be the best. You might be like bottom string. You might barely scrape in there somehow. If you spent 40 hours a week practicing, if you did this, you might be able to do that. Yeah, you might be able to be a CEO, but your company isn't going to be big and successful. It's not going to be this large thing. And instead of going, hey, yes, let's help you do this, go, what is it that you're trying to accomplish or gain from that? What is it that you're looking to achieve from being a CEO or get from that? Is it the title? Well, what are you wanting from that title? Is it respect? Is it like, what is it that you're trying to get from that title?
Yeah.
Is there another way to help you achieve this without going, maybe this isn't your best strong suit, but you could do this and maybe still achieve those things you're looking for and feel that value, that respect, that whatever you're trying to achieve and accomplish without necessarily having to do it in the route that you're thinking, because that might not be your best strong suit. You're really fucking strong here, and you could do this here and see those skills and that value without having to, because wouldn't that be what a life coach is coaching you how to be successful in life? And that might not necessarily be the CEO or the dream that we've built in our mind. It might be something totally different.
Yeah, and that's the hard thing too. It's, before what life coaching was being able to systematize your life, to put yourself on a schedule, checks and balances, which are all very good. But the side of like, can anybody be anything? I disagree. I don't think you should.
Not that you should.
I don't even think you should explore it. I think that this is the reason why I would say something like that. We've got a massive amount of student debt in this world for people who had that exact same idea. Yeah. Like, I'm going to do this.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So
what do they say? It's like 76% of people who graduate do not use their degree. 76%.
I would wager that, yeah. Because most people that I know, unless they are a medical professional, like a doctor or an attorney
Or an accountant.
Or like an architect or an engineer,
Yeah.
or if you go into like
STEM.
some bioengineering or something,
Yeah.
those specifics. But even then, I found quite a few of them that don't even utilize their degree still and are in a whole different field or area. And so even those that you would figure more would be, you still find it. So I would wager, 100% you would see 76 or more of people who don't utilize their degree because it's not valuable in, or they don't find the purpose that they were hoping from it. Like, hey,
Right.
I was trying to be this basketball player, this CEO, or this thing.
This doctor.
Yeah, and I didn't feel like I didn't find value in it. I didn't find purpose. I woke up and I hated my life every day. Like, how many people do that? And they're like, oh, well, you're having a midlife crisis. Well, maybe you just tried to live someone else's dream going, I need to do this for so long, and woke up one day going, fuck, I really like just putting together bikes and selling them. Or I just like making coffee. Or I like working with my hands. I'm going to go be a plumber.
Well,
Or,
and that,
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because it was the realization of like all these things that we were told you had to do didn't necessarily equate to your happiness.
Well, and that's the thing too. It's always keeping up with the Joneses, and that's where I find that a lot of these social media life coaches, business coaches, or any of that, or mental health coaches, because that's what you are. When
Subscribe to my course.
Yeah, subscribe to my course. Like the ADHD girl. Like, I like some of her content. It's kind of funny, and then she goes, "I'm also an ADHD coach." And I'm like, there's the rub, right? And it's instead, like, I would see these content creators. The content creators that do really, really well are the ones who are not asking for anything. They're putting out content. They just put out the content that can be helpful. One of the most favorite ones I ever saw, and I don't even have anything wrong with this part, other than I'm getting older and I have diabetes. An optometrist. Hilarious content. Hilarious. He's got, like, this one where he talks to himself and he's like, yeah, I'm going to help out my patient, but I got to put it into the insurance to make sure you're doing that. He goes, wait a minute. I thought you're practicing medicine. Yeah, but the insurance has to sign off on it. So let me get this right. You have to wait on the insurance to be able to make sure that this medical claim can actually be taken care of. And he goes, yeah. That would be practicing medicine. He goes, so the insurance companies practice medicine.
They do.
Doctors give it suggestions.
Yep. I learned that with my dad's last procedure on his back because he was like, cool, well, they've submitted this to the insurance and they're waiting to hear back on what will be approved or not. And we'll see whether they allow this procedure to be done or if they try and make us do this other one that isn't recommended, but for the insurance it's cheaper, so that's what they would recommend because it might not be the best for the body, but in the long run it's going to cost the insurance less. So it's not about what's best for the human body, it's about what's going to keep more money in your insurance company's pocket.
And that brings me right back to the TikTok stuff. Sorry, this thing's like a little, I'm chasing it. It is the unconfirmed bias. When you should get multiple, if you're going to be looking at content on there, if they say 5 ways to make your ADHD more livable, maybe skirt away from it. The ones that are just talking more about, hey, this is what it's like there. Here's some things that have worked for me.
Yeah.
And making statements of I instead of this.
Well, that's what I've liked because my youngest was always told by doctors and everyone else that she has ADHD. And the first thing was, okay, well, we should put her on caffeine pills because caffeine has the opposite effect on her as the other. So she was on caffeine pills, and it was amazing. She worked just fine. And then her mom moved her out of the state, which, of course, allowed her to go, well, I don't need your approval, so now methadone pharmaceutical meth is now going to be provided. So
Adderall.
Yeah. So then she was on that, but there was still hyper outbursts, all these things, and no difference in focus or personality, or all she did was lose her appetite, feel less like herself, and didn't gain anything from it. Now she's been back with me for over 2 years. She's not had any of that for over 2 years, and yet she's had great grades in school. Her teachers love her, no complaints, never outbursts or this or that. No, she's quiet. She's like fantastic. She learns. She's a very good student. And yet when she was young and that was not what was, the doctors were, oh, you need to put this or do this. And then her mom wanted to get her on that. And it's looking at it going, but where we're going TikTok Emily had sent me videos that were like people with ADHD. And the lady was like, oh, things for me that are really hard is like picking out my outfit, making sure, like doing these things. And she's like, so for me, I just have these clear bins. For me, that makes it easier because I can just look at it and go, oh, okay, versus just feeling overwhelmed because I can't see everything or do that. And I was like, oh, well, that might be a really simple change or something that I could do that might make an easier effect for Addison, and just maybe with how her brain works. Like, there might not be a need for medication. Maybe I just have to help work with how her brain works.
Totally.
Going, well, what works for you? Do you work this way? Well, if I can make these things visible for you, does that make it easier? Okay, well, if it's easier, then who cares? Like, what tool, like you said, skills or tools that they can use or provide, going, this has really helped me. Okay, well, shit, yeah, I kind of struggle with that. Would that tool or that little simple change help me? Could I impact my life by doing this really simple thing? I like that aspect of it, going, And I've pulled that from a lot of things, even on TikTok or books, everywhere, where it's like, oh, shit.
But that's good. What it is a perspective, and it doesn't have a motive. And that's where I see those who are saying 5 ways to do this or 10 things that you're doing wrong with ADHD and how to fix them. Like, anybody giving you a solid claim of this works, be very wary of that, especially when it comes to ADHD. But depression.
And they say it's a spectrum on all these things. So
100%.
Then it's looking at it going, well, where on this spectrum am I, supposedly, and where on that spectrum are they? Versus, like, if it was videos going, here's 5 things I struggle with, and here's how I deal with them. Cool, I really struggle with this, and I found when I do this, it's kind of helped me. And I don't know. And then you're going, I struggle with that. Not self-diagnosing, but like, damn, I know that I struggle with this issue. I see this issue or this reoccurrence often in my life. And I know that for me, that's hard.
No.
Damn, I've never thought about this approach. I've never even thought about trying that thing.
And then you'd be more inclined to look into the creator.
Yes.
And then if you found the creator had a course, and you'd be like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'd take that.
I like how they approached these things or how they worked with their struggles. Not, man, they were diagnosed by a doctor or self-diagnosed through TikTok and a checklist of, hey, I've got this. But like, man, I really struggle with this. Because all growing up, apparently, doctors told my parents that we had ADHD, that I had ADHD, that I should be on meds. And that was apparently what my dad was told and his family was told. And then I look at it and I go, okay, well, if instead it was, hey, I'm diagnosed with this and this is what it's not, this is ADHD. This is how I struggle and this is what I'm struggling with. And this is what I found helps me sometimes because this is really fucking hard for me to do. Maybe you guys have struggles with this. Have you found something that works good for you? Because maybe there's a better way than what I'm doing. Like, how many of us do it that approach versus going, man, I'm diagnosed with this, and this means this, because clinically this checklist says I've got this.
Well, it's like people who will use the DSM-5 as their like standpoint of like absolute surety. Like, this was said by this therapeutic board, I don't care. I have a hard time with actual therapists. I think that they are few and far between.
Because it's all individual based.
Yeah, 100%. And if you are a person who is extremely empathetic and has a great time in connecting with people, go towards therapy. Something towards that, because you have a gift. When I see somebody who's cold and methodical and treating it like they're an eye surgeon to somebody over there, like you can't DSM your way out of this. Then it becomes this weird like biblical standard.
Well, we're putting the human on the other side, and we're taking away the humanity, and we're putting him in this checklist or a box and going, here is how I fix this. Prescribe this, do 10 Hail Marys, and touch your toes 3 times and spin in a circle, and you'll be healed.
Well, it's not even the healed part. It's just like the idea of that you aren't okay. Like, there are things about you. There's quirks and personality traits and behaviors.
Oh,
that you
because
have.
of the diagnosis, you're not okay.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
not okay. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of them start to be, well, like, because then you get the other part where you're going, well, did you get diagnosed? I mean, most people are undiagnosed, ADHD, whatever.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's just a way for us to put labels on things so we can make sense of it. Because
Yeah.
if it's just happening,
It's different.
yeah.
And people don't like different, and this world really loves labels. We like to have a label to attach to
Oh,
something.
we all do.
It's, what
We
do you
all do.
identify as? What's your political thing? What's your religious thing? It's, what do you label yourself as? So I can identify you and feel where you fit into my list of people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are your labels? Tell me. And it's not understanding, hey, like, what are your struggles? Who are you as a person? It's,
Well, and that's where it comes down
that's
to. It's connection.
what
That's
we
where
know.
the part of where I was saying that I don't like a lot of mental health professionals
yeah.
is because I've seen a lot of them. I've got over
Me-
10 years of working in psych,
You've seen a lot
directly
of mental health stuff.
working with children to adults. And I'll tell you, man, like it is a turnstile of individuals that come through that
Yeah.
they may be nice people,
Yeah.
but they're not built for that. This was
The
something.
therapists and the
Yeah.
yeah.
This was pointed to them towards from some college counselor who was just
Yeah.
like, yeah, what do you want to
Well,
be?
and how many of us when we're that young truly understand who we are and how we like what our strong suits and our skill sets are and how we connect with people and like I love connecting with people and talking with people, but I think therapy would be really hard to take on everyone's shit.
Well, and that's where you get a lot of these like does red light therapy help? Probably.
Maybe.
Do cold plunges work? I guess. You know, all this, it's trendy shit
Yeah.
that got started. Like, honestly, like people we're making a bundle of cash making these cold tubs.
Yeah.
What the
Honestly, I thought it just came from the Wim Hof thing, but the thing
No.
they missed, no, it came from before Wim
It's
Hof?
way before
Okay.
that, yeah.
I thought the big massive trend of the newest came from Wim Hof because
No, that was more like the breathing and all that stuff. And that's died down too.
Because his was more breathing focused when I watched all his stuff.
It
was
just the stunts.
He's in the cold and yeah, it's getting this illness out of my bloodstream or whatever, like these things, but it was breathing. So that's why I was very curious because
Which is funny because
I don't know
even
what brought
he
the
is kind of
emergency.
commercialized himself, where to the
Yeah.
point where it kills. And that's the part that's hard too, man. It's does it live in infamy or does it just fizzle? And most of them fizzle, like because it's just something, especially in our day and age. And that's where I see the dangers of TikTok therapy is that you'll be in this constant loop of looking for your advice through that, or going straight to ChatGPT when you haven't trained it to be able to actually engage with you on that level. And it's just going to pull whatever it can find.
Yeah. And
it'll
if
do
you
whatever
haven't
you ask
given
it to do.
parameters and stuff,
Oh,
like
yeah.
you will get all sorts of suggestions
If
and
you
that.
are,
like,
yeah, you got to guide
yeah,
it.
very
And we
much
don't
so.
have a world of connection. And that's where I see it's been the most needed. And that's why people gravitate towards it, because it's not a dopamine high. It's a quick fix of hope. You're smoking hopium now and you're like, okay, good. And hope is good. Don't get me wrong. Hope is good. It gives you a little bit of stability underneath you to keep going. But when you find people that are like so biased that they get all their info, all of their medical, political, religious ideations from TikTok, you are getting a soup of different ideas.
Yeah.
And you need to be consistent. It's like, like there's two different ways of working out. Either you can just work out your whole body and you'll get some stuff done, or you can isolate and see improvement over a period of time. Both of them serve the same purpose. It just depends on which path you're going to go down, what you want to do. Do you just want to be healthy? This is a good idea. If you really want to wreck your body and see crazy changes, do this. But there is no right way, and that's where I see a lot of these. It's hard for minds that are not really discerning to be able to go through it going, okay, yeah, that would apply, like how you were talking about. Yeah, that's unique. I would do that. It's like I could see one TikTok about diabetes management where they're talking about low carbs, high fat, protein. And then the next one going,
opposite.
I totally got rid of my type 2 diabetes eating nothing but watermelon.
Right.
And if they said that, that's dangerous because watermelon will absolutely spike your blood sugar. So it's like, where are they getting?
Yeah.
And the thing is, somebody heard something. This is the funniest one, and I'll have to send you the video. But it was about this girl who went to BYU, and I think she was studying geology. And her professor said the dinosaurs, right? This is a weird Mormon belief. The dinosaurs actually were put here from another planet together by God, and that's why we find them, right? And
that was taught at BYU?
No, it was taught by this professor.
At BYU?
Yeah. And but this is the thing. We go BYU, and then we go to any university.
Any university.
You're going to have a fringe professor.
Taught over a pulpit or a thing to students.
And they pay money for this.
Yes.
And that's...
Yeah, and they're graded on it.
Yep. And they're not getting jobs on it now. You know, for people who are going into that. So that's the thing. It's like, where is the information? Is it, do you know either based on experience or do you know based upon research? Not getting a bunch of things. That's why life coaches, even in Utah, and there's a lot of other states too, Utah now has a law stating that life coaches are not allowed to do therapeutic things such as EMDR. And there was a big case here in Utah where there was a woman who was a licensed therapist, but went under life coaching.
Okay.
Why? Well,
to see their methods, or because she saw
a licensed therapist has malpractice insurance.
So they didn't need that.
Life coaches don't.
Yeah.
So they got sued because this person got really depressed. You also see big in the news. Do you know about that woman? What was her name? I got the info. She was the one that had all these kids trapped in the basement and shit.
Oh, in Utah?
Yeah.
I swear I read about that, but it's been a while. Like, I could not
Frankie something.
Frankie Muniz?
Frankie Nunez.
I swear that was on, like, TV when I was a kid at some point. I have no idea that name.
Yeah, there was this...
Oh, but they were all foster kids, weren't they?
No.
No?
This woman, Ruby Frankie had a very successful YouTube channel based out of here in Utah.
Okay.
And it was her extreme parenting.
Extreme parenting?
Yeah, extreme. Like, she was very, like her daughter called her one time. There was a video, and her daughter calls her, and she's doing the video, and she goes, she called me, and I told her, if you don't get your lunch, then you can't have your lunch. So you got to make sure you're being responsible for your lunch, and I'm not taking her lunch. So her kid doesn't have lunch that day, which I don't know why you're doing that to a child.
Yeah.
You know, if they're a teenager, you're like,
you
whatever.
Had,
go
tons of
friends.
Years figuring this out. Like,
but she actually went to prison, pled guilty for 4 counts of child abuse and aggravated child abuse. But the thing is this woman was a life coach that kind of started to twist her around. And this woman was the one that she had told her about this extreme parenting. They created a business. Her kids were trapped in the house. One of the kids escaped, ran to a man, and he had duct tape around his arms. And he's like, you have to help me.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Holy
kid.
shit.
And the guy called the cops, and they found all the other kids had been abused for years, malnourished, chained up, taped up for going against it. And this... The dangers of a soft mind, you know. And
even, holding therapies and stuff. There's things that's what I was saying. Like, when you were saying that, it just made me think of all the things that certain parents did. And
that's the dangers of TikTok too, because somebody could reintroduce that.
Yeah.
Going, hey, this is a really good thing. This is fringe. Yep. But it's like
But then how many parents are like, oh, yeah, I'd do that. I'd try that.
It was like this one lady, she had this funny content. And I was like, does she have content for it? She says she's a sex therapist, but she does yoga poses on TikTok. Social media.
Yeah.
Tell you how to have sex better. It's like, what? It's all about positions. It's not about connection. Like, I'm already having questions about you.
Yeah.
Because you get some thirsty dudes like, well, I want to do all those things. Yeah. And the woman's like, I don't want him to do any of those things.
Yeah, I don't want any of those positions.
I don't want that. He doesn't understand me. So it's looking at both sides. It's a double-edged sword. But there's, it's like content that you create for Evolution of Me, later on. And when you put that out, you're doing it in a way of more of, here's a journey, here's a perspective, not here's the way.
No, it might be hey, here's a thing that might work for you. It might, like, there's never.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, because
that's awesome. Because
I am not an expert in any sort of fucking way.
But but you're an engaged learner, and that's more important for other people, right? It's like where I'm at now with, like, one of the things I've toyed around with because of how many people I've talked to is doing more of connection coaching. Not life coaching, connection coaching,
friends,
teaching you how
to connect with humans,
build friends, and to start relationships. Because I've had so many people that I've worked with, not unintentionally, giving them advice because they've asked, and it's worked out well for them. So I'm like, okay, cool. Is it based off of a lot of experience? Yeah. A lot of the behavior science? Yeah. But I'm always in growth, and I'm not thinking that I have all the answers. And then when I meet people like that in the life coaching industry, they go, I have all of them.
Anyone who tells you they have all the answers, run. They're lying.
Yeah, and that's why, what I'm creating called behavioral fusion, these things can be updated. They can be changed. These are tools. They're not the way. It's just a tool. It's just like any other tool that you see in a tool chest, going, I could use some of that tool. That's what I want to create. And I started coming to, because that's been the hardest thing for me. It's like what you're not a life coach, but you want life experiences. And by learning from those and being honest with people and honest with yourself and what you can be able to achieve from that, I think is exponentially better. So what I would suggest on that side, instead of going to TikTok or anything like that, start looking for podcasts that have these open dialogues.
That's true. Yeah, you might find, because there are quite a few experts actually who do have shows too.
Oh, dude, so many.
Yeah.
So many. And a lot of them are missed because people it's lost in the sea of well, if it's not on Call Her Daddy, I don't know what it is. And it's just I'm not going to be okay with this.
So a lot of our audience struggles with mental health, or have talked to, even sent us messages about their journeys and stuff. And even with you guys, what have you guys found? Has there been a doctor, a podcast, a book, something that you have gone to that has really just given you a tool or a skill or something to go, hey, maybe you haven't thought of this and this might really help.
And then also, if you guys have come across some real shady looking TikTokers, why don't you go and send it over to us? Because we'd like a good laugh, be able to look at it, maybe ponder it, maybe even have some dialogue with you. Mm-hmm. Also, would love the comments. Keep them coming, and the honesty in the comments, dude. Seriously. Right there on Spotify. We think it's so cool that you can engage with us right there.
How we get better.
Yeah. So, as always, guys, we love you.
Catch you next week.
Take care.